This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody, WFO Radio got something very special for you today. Bobby Bennett from Competition Plus is going to be joining us talking about the debut of the new Legends, the series episode featuring Billy Meyer. That's right, Billy created, invented, dreamed up the Texas Motorplex, the Stampede of Speed, and so many things in between. Bobby Bennett from Competition Plus is going to be joining us just seconds from now. I know what you're thinking. I know, and I shouldn't even tell you this, but I'm going to tell you because this is what WFO is all about. Honesty, telling the audience the truth. The answer is this is pre-recorded. Me and Bobby got together before now, and since the episode is debuting tonight, we timed it out. And so you guys will remember to watch tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Real quick, let me run through the people who make it possible for me to talk to guys like Bobby, like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, TotalSeal.com. Thanks to Hartford and Lake and the whole team over there. Really appreciate them. New episodes of Hidden Horsepower coming out all the time. Their website, you can get all kinds of great stuff up there. samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill, blockhead, CNC programming. They got it all at samtech.edu. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. You're up against that holiday. What are you going to get for your friends? Get them the Dragster Adventure. They will love you. And if you don't want to go that big, that's fine. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Hot sauces and spice rubs, everything good. 817-924-6821. That is Marvin Rodak. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. And don't forget our own WFO Radio store. Just hit the website, WFORadio.com. We've got all kinds of great logo products and even an Amazon store with some great products up there that I think are super cool. But now let's bring on our guest of honor from Competition Plus, Bobby Bennett. Bobby, welcome. How are you?
Hey, it's better to be here on different circumstances than the last time.
Yes. Well, the last time, first of all, that's kind of not good that it's been that long. The last time we had you on was your recovery from COVID interview. Wow, it's been a while. You're looking great, Bobby. Every time I see it, it's like, wow, you survived something big.
I try to tell everybody back in the day, and it was just a year ago, but back about a year ago, I was like an F modified production, and now I'm a low D modified production. I can still zing the flywheel.
You got healthy. It was a health scare, and you decided to get as healthy as is possible. And it's very obvious that you're doing it. And that is great. And you know what? I want to thank you since we brought that up. There's a couple of things going on that I do want to thank you. That first and foremost, making the pandemic a real thing, giving it a face so that when I was encountering people who were telling me that it's all a lie, it's a fake thing, ignore it, I knew to not listen because I had someone that I knew and that I trusted who was experiencing it and experienced it in such a way that was horrific that I knew to not listen. And Bobby, you know it, man. There were a lot of people that were motivated to tell others to ignore it. And I never did. And thank you for that. Well,
unfortunately, I guess we all have a role in life to play sometimes. I never thought mine would be on the health side, but the thing is that be aware of your surroundings, be aware of everything, and most of all, get your health in the best shape. And that's your best weapon against everything.
Absolutely. Common sense and being healthy and taking the right stuff. But anyway, we're not here to go down that road, everybody. We're here to talk about Billy Meyer. But I do have to thank Bobby about one other thing. Bobby, you put me on Competition Plus TV at the very beginning. And this year, I got my first opportunity at the Fox Sports 1 broadcast. I got to check some boxes, right? You ever been on Fox Sports? Yes. You ever done live TV? Yes. And you and others along the way given me an opportunity in front of cameras to, relax and understand what it was all about a little bit. Greatly appreciated and, made it to a high level this year.
Well, Joe, I'm starting to feel like the Bill Belichick of internet drag racing magazines, in that I have a coaching tree of people who were once with us that have gone on to bigger and better things, or bigger and different things. And everyone who was part of this team along the way, I'm just I'm so proud of them. So proud of you. So proud of Brian Loans, Krista Baldwin, and forgive me if I leave anybody out, but we have had a whole group of team, bless Mayhew, that have come through here, and
Yeah,
some are still here.
Wow. Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, and hey, maybe we'll be there again. Who knows? It's a great thing to have these media outlets like Competition Plus. We can go and, get some experience and work and meet people and rep the sport. And, again, who knows what the future holds. But thank you for that, and I appreciate it. All right, let's talk Billy Meyer. I'm sure there's people out there commenting on all our social channels. We're going to watch a clip, which is cool. This is not going to make the podcast because the clip is like 4 minutes long. But what we are going to do, and since we have scheduled this on our YouTube page and Facebook and Twitter, etc., it'll be one of those, visual only parts of WFO Radio. But before we get to the clip, let's talk about Billy. A lot of people think Billy Meyer, Texas Motorplex, funny car racer. What did you learn about Billy Meyer?
He's still Waco Willie, wide open Willie. Billy Meyer. I wouldn't say so much that he comes across as being cocky, in some aspects, but I beg to differ now that I've learned much more about Billy. And that a lot of it was just his upbringing. One of the questions I asked him is, how did you grow up? What was it like growing up in such a positive energy household that doesn't even recognize the possibility of defeat? And came across, he was brash, he was young, he was cocky, came in with an 18-wheeler when guys were still doing the pull along trailer thing, and he had big sponsors. He didn't care. He didn't mind telling you what he thought, and just so many things that I learned in the interview. And something I've always said is that Legends, a series, was grown out of two reasons. Number one, we were at an IHRA event, and they had a young person working there for IHRA, and Richard Tharp walked in the press room, and I said, "Hey, that's Richard Tharp." And the young gentleman says, "Who's that?" And I'm thinking, maybe we ought to do some stuff to educate our younger audience of those who laid the foundation before them. And then my absolute love of NFL football. I love football, as you know.
Yeah, because you are a Bucs fan, and you're not a bandwagon fan, by the way. You've been with the Bucs since they were garbage.
Look, just so I can prove, here's a Logo Athletics sawtooth hat.
Wow.
Dude, you had to be down in the dumps for that one. There's no faking that one. Right. But anyway, I would find one of these episodes of this documentary that they did on the NFL Network called A Football Life. And I would specifically pick the people that I could not stand because I wanted to come away from one episode with one reason why I would respect them or like them or kind of like them, but not hate them anymore. Not that there's ever really any hate, but the same thing with drag racing. I wanted to go with what went beyond the magazine covers, the stuff that we all talked about sitting around telling war stories.
Got it. All right. So let's dive into the clip. Billy Meyer, Legends, a series, 8 p.m. Eastern, December 22nd, which is hopefully tonight, assuming all of our scheduling has worked out appropriately. Everybody should go to competitionplus.com, check it out. Let's watch the clip.
Come up the hard way, I like to say, in drag racing. I've been doing it for some 19 years, and when I first started, it was my wife and myself towing down the road with a race car, and I don't think Billy Myers has ever done that. And I believe that the money that he's gotten and things he's done has come from his family, and I don't think he's ever even had a job, as far as I know.
So what you're saying, you think then that money can buy a competitive race car?
Absolutely, yeah. It just... That's all. That's what it really takes is a lot of money.
People talk and they don't necessarily have all the facts. Did you ever try to counsel anybody when they would say, when there was that perception out there when it really wasn't?
No, because I didn't give a damn. You know, I had a mission and I had a goal, what I was trying to accomplish, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I still don't care what anybody thinks. I mean, obviously I don't want anybody to think ill of me, but I'm just who I am. I'm very goal driven, you know, and was raised that way, and still am. If you knew what really happened and how much help I really got from my family, you would think about that. I mean, I've been in hotels where I had to sneak out at night because my credit card didn't work anymore.
And this is a sight you very rarely see on any drag strip. Two cars coming at each other head on. The Blue Max against Billy Meyer. Meyer coming around him and passing him, heading back behind.
Probably had pissed him off so many times, being so aggressive. You know, I wasn't the one that would get any rules breaks.
And Beetle sideways and comes back in line. A beautiful, masterly handling job by Beetle. He got his car straight, but he loses to Meyer.
That determination, you know, and it's omnipotent. I mean, you know, obviously the world's full of educated derelicts, you know, but persistence and determination is omnipotent. I mean, so I knew I worked harder than anybody, and I knew I tried harder, and I am kind of a mad scientist when it comes to being a tuner.
Paul Smith, Larry Kugel teaming up with the Sting. Billy Meyer, his 18-wheel trailer, a large supply of parts, did not have the problems Paul Smith and the low-budget crew had in getting to this final round.
He is going to be one of drag racing's ultra superstars. Plus, he's darn good looking, and I don't know how they keep the girls away from him.
Do you answer to Waco Willie or Wide Open?
I'll answer to anything anymore. I don't care.
What was it like your first fire?
It was hot.
I'm thinking you wanted no part of the recreation of the fire, right?
Well, I did all those scenes. Yeah, I mean, I didn't do it was all remote control in that movie. I knew we were in a big league sport, but we were playing in little league ballparks. But it'd be like the Dallas Cowboys playing at a high school football field, was what we were doing. I mean, I raced at an IHRA race. We raced in St. Louis, and they didn't even have lights at the finish line, in the shutoff area.
Eddie Hill, a great crowd of fans were on their feet, hoping to see the first sub-5-second run.
Actually, my biggest regret is that NHRA didn't believe me, and they thought I was trying to take over the sport. They didn't believe that I actually did it for the betterment of the sport, trying to merge everything together.
There was no amount of positive energy that could have put a positive spin on that IHRA experience for you, was there?
Well, a drought would have helped.
There's a saying behind you. Would you read that?
I don't need to read it.
Can you tell me?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, it's whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire,
Sincerely believe, and then enthusiastically act upon.
to become to pass.
What does that mean to you?
And there you have it. Wow, Bobby. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. The snake coming in with the snake. And we know from Snake's book that he and Billy, seeing him out there on the stage this year as the Snake became a legend of the Texas Motorplex. But having just read Snake's book and to know that like there was a ballot stuffing campaign and there was all kinds of stuff going on, to see how they have come together, that is amazing. But Billy, what a determined person.
Oh yeah, definitely. And just to clarify, when there were some blank spots where there was, we are able to use on our YouTube channel music, and we picked the perfect song, I think, for the Billy Meyer preview, "Spirit in the Sky" by Norman Greenbaum. I don't know if you've ever heard that song, but that's what was playing behind it. But we didn't, obviously for legal reasons, we couldn't do it on this. But those are just clips of just parts of the interview. I mean, you get the brash Billy Meyer that I really don't give a crap what you think about me. But then when we talk about his father, who he reveals in the show was working right up to the week he died, on just finished up another Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And his dad was extremely in the positive energy, that hence the sponsorship, the SMI motivator,
Well, I knew that, and Billy had been on WFO a while back, and he explained all about that. His dad was one of the pioneers of that, almost, the power of positive thinking. He was in sales, and he had built a whole sales network. You think about all those people who are in that nowadays. Billy got ahead of it, but it sounds like Billy, he had the support, but it weren't just giving him money to go drag racing.
No. And as you might have picked up on the first clip, said you didn't know that there were times that I didn't even have enough money to pay the hotel bill, or, the times that they would have to go eat at the restaurant at the hotel on the credit card because they didn't have cash money to go out and eat, so, there's a lot of misnomers out there. And that's one of the reasons why we do this. Like we did with the Kenny Bernstein episode, which I urge all of your viewers to go watch. It's the Legend of Kenny Bernstein, Legends, a series. Just go on your YouTube, put in Legends, the series, and they can go and watch all the way back to season 1, even the Jungle Pam one, which is on the verge of 1 million views.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. I've seen the Jungle Pam one. And what I did was I went to YouTube on my smart TV and I just voice, Legends, the series, and they just started playing. And there goes an afternoon, right? Like just hours later, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I want to give you credit in that you have evolved remember guys, he just gave us a clip. We just put together a bunch of clips for our show. It's produced on his deal. And you have evolved your style so much, being there off mic, the person is the focus, and they've gotten emotional over the years. It's pretty amazing. I remember Daryl Gwynn and others. Great job with it. So 8 p.m. Eastern time, December 22nd, tonight, Legends, the series on competitionplus.com and your YouTube channel and all of that. People are, what happens though? What if I get there 1 minute early? Does it pop on? Do I need to click refresh? A lot of people don't know how that goes.
It's set for 8 o'clock. It'll go through its usual spiel of the premiere because we set it up to premiere at 8 p.m. One thing that you were talking about, the evolution of these videos, I can tell you that each episode, before I will do an episode on somebody, I have to know that they're worth my time. Not saying that my time is valuable.
Sure.
Not saying that I'm some big shot, but each episode has a minimum of maybe 60 hours of editing time. The Kenny Bernstein one went over 100 hours because I kept going back and refining. I'm right at 60 hours on the Billy Meyer thing. I had it finished, and then I'm going back and refining some more. So just kind of a few clips that I maybe let's see if we can squeeze that in there. So
excellent, Bobby. I think you've done a great job. Hopefully everybody will check it out. Legends, the series, the Billy Meyer episode. And Billy, I can tell you my personal interactions with him have been all great. He has been he and Chrissy have been so nice to me. And my times at the Motorplex have all been great, and I've had a good time. The Stampede of Speed this year was just out of control. And so there's a lot to want to emulate too. The guy, what is the statement? If you vividly dream it and enthusiastically pursue it, what they did this year with the Motorplex to refurbish and put it on the cutting edge of facilities. That's what drag racing needs again. You can't walk into a place and be like, oh, this is old. Nobody likes that, especially sponsors, especially team owners, especially media people. Billy recognized it, and that place is top notch right now.
I always say that drag strip from the day it was created was one of the 7 wonders of the drag racing world. I mean, think about it. Think about it. I mean, at the time this thing came out, concrete quarter mile, you got to be kidding, because before that, every concrete highway or everything that when you would drive down the concrete highway, stop me if you've heard this before. Do-do, do-do, do-do,
Yep.
do-do.
Absolutely.
And I'm just thinking, and he said, that they, when he's explaining this in this episode, he's like, well, we did, we started out with the 6-foot concrete pads. Then we went to 18-foot. Then we went to 60-foot. Then we went to 100, 200, 300. And we always figured, well, the car's going to run to that point, run very well to that point. So why not just do it all the way down the drag strip?
Right. That post-tension style of concrete, which is, to this day, people need to realize, like, that's the only surface that has ever been there since. Like, they haven't torn it up. It's been there since, like, what is it, 1983 that the track came around? And
no, it was 86, 85, so 86. Yeah.
It's 2021. It's the same concrete, and the crew chiefs still like it and can get after it.
Absolutely. And, one of the things is that for the longest, when the NHRA came there, and this is something that Billy reveals in there, is that the NHRA did not really want him to build this track this way. They told him he built it all wrong. And a lot of that stemmed from nobody knew how to prepare the track, how to clean up the track. And it was a whole new learning experience on the whole deal. And that is one of the big things. And Billy, he and the NHRA had kind of a love-hate relationship. I think it's a lot better. He says that there's probably some residual, but I don't see that, because I don't think anybody's here that was back in the Dallas Gardner days when, Billy kind of pushed their buttons and everything. I mean, case in point, he's talking about he had the Skull Bandit sponsorship. Well, according to Billy, NHRA threatened to not give him any points, not pay him for the race if he won it or any of that. And Billy says, I don't care. I'll just get my money in court. So have at it. And the funny thing is that because Winston viewed Skull or U.S. Smokeless as a competitor, he was kind of like counseled against running that sponsorship. And then he won the race. So what are you going to do now? You're not going to give him points? Nah. They would have been a PR disaster. And then, of course, Billy, Larry Carrier, who was the guy over the IHRA, who was public enemy number one for the NHRA, Larry decides that he's just going to not pay any drivers appearance money and just throw this big pot in there. I think they were paying like $30,000 to win, 30 grand to win for fuel, both fuel classes, and like 10 grand to win pro stock, Mount Motor pro stock, back in 79 and 80. And the purse kept going up. Well, guess who shined at that? Was the shiner at that race? Billy Meyer. He was in there picking Larry Carrier's pocket every year for that big money. He even pointed out in the Legends episode that he used to put that as part of his receivables in his budget. He used to count on winning the race, and he did. It was like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. He went to the finals of that race from 70, I believe it was 74 to 1984.
Oh, my goodness.
He went to the finals 6 times of that race and won 5 of them.
Wow.
And, and then he goes, what does he do? He goes and buys the IHRA. And all of a sudden, he had a vision of merging the IHRA with the NHRA, but it didn't work out. There were too many people that didn't trust him, thought he was taking over the sport, trying to take over the sport. So it didn't work. So Billy took his ball and went and played elsewhere. Took the Texas Motorplex to IHRA where he was running. And of course, he didn't count on 10 of 12 races getting rain. Right. So much so that the IHRA didn't stand for the International Hot Rod Association. It stood for It Has Rained Again. and so, time heals all wounds. And I believe that the wounds between the IHRA, Billy Meyer and NHRA are pretty much healed.
I would hope so. And, as you get older, you see the great rivals come together and celebrate their rivalry. And, I can't help but think, and I don't know all the details. I can't wait to watch, right, to formulate a better opinion. I've heard some stories, though, and I just think about if only they could get together and got on the same page. But it was a different world then, right? Like synergies and these, mergers and synergies, and we can do it better and more efficiently together was not the thing of the era. It was like all versus all competition. And if I'm gaining, you've got to be losing. And that's not the way it is anymore. Like we all excel when we're on the same page, working in the right direction together. Now, I'm not saying like Apple and Samsung, that's their rivals, and they're trying to take each other's market share, and certainly Ford versus GM. But even then, what battery projects do they have together? What are they working on slightly under the surface that they can lower cost for themselves? That kind of thing hadn't taken over yet. And anybody that enters your arena, they're a threat to you, and they're trying to close you down and steal your business and take food out of your mouth. And so they need to be fought.
Billy was so far ahead of his time with the IHRA stuff. We would have never told him that back in the day, being in the media, but he really was. Now, hindsight being 2020, we look back on it. I mean, 12 car fields, 12 cars, really?
Yeah.
So what happened was your number 1 and number 2 qualifiers got bye runs into the second round, and the rest had to battle it out to make it to the quarterfinals. And it was just a really, today with short fields, as we get from time to time, it would have been excellent. Maybe not so much when we had the full fields, but that was one of them. The other one that really made Billy not liked in the IHRA sportsman pits, we are going to kill super stock, modified, and stock. And we're going to replace it with 790, 890, 990, 1090, 1190, 1290 classes. That flew about as well as a lead balloon. And but what we didn't know is that he was actually seeing the future of this whole deal. Now, he will readily admit in the episode of Legends of series that he didn't understand the sportsman racer and learned a lot from those mistakes.
Wow, that is great. Yeah, I'm against that as an idea.
Me too.
But the willingness to try, this is what we're saying all the time and need to be saying all the time, the willingness to expand your mind beyond what already exists, to think about what things could be, what can be done, and try some things. Like, I don't agree with that. And, he course corrected, but the willingness to think of things not as they are, but as they could be, which is what his little motto was. I'm all for that. And not everything you do is going to be right. Like, not every idea you come up with is going to be the idea, but some of them are, and some of them aren't. You got to go through that process. And that's what Billy seems most willing to do, to try stuff. And that's kind of where we are right now. And, has Billy Meyer's style and methodology ultimately won out? Because I feel like now the NHRA is in a phase where they are willing to try whatever. We're going to do a call out race and let number 1 call out one of the racers. And what does it take to be successful? Let's try it. Let's do some stuff. Let's mix it up. That's what we have always needed. And now we're there. And the timing's right for guys like me and you who are in it right now. But, that seems to be Billy's methodology the whole time.
Well, the thing is that I was a little bit jaded on the whole idea, because at the time I was a 19-year-old in 1988. I had just went to the bank and borrowed $1,500 to create a magazine because nobody would give me a chance to write for them. And it was going to be a 40-page black and white sportsman only with a focus on IHRA sportsman racing. And Billy Meyer went in and wiped out half of the classes. And I'm like, son of a gun, but it wasn't gun, I said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, it is what it is. And just so you know, that $1,500 I went and borrowed was to create a new magazine called Competition Plus, which was a sportsman magazine and lasted for 8 months and had over 800 subscribers when I went broke.
800, not bad. Not bad.
I was hustling, man.
That's it.
But what I did say is that one day, if I ever get a chance to do another magazine, I'd call it Competition Plus, and this time I would make it a success. Fortunately, I didn't know I'd be creating a whole new industry, kind of a magazine that's like the type that would reprint itself every night sitting on the coffee table. But 22 years of Competition Plus, and we're still kicking it.
Still kicking it, baby. Well, great job and congratulations on that. Bobby, thank you very much. Billy Meyer, Legends the Series, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, December 22nd, tonight. You definitely want to watch it. What's the total runtime on the deal, Bobby?
It's right at an hour. I started stretching these things out. When I started, I tried to keep them under 30 minutes or close to it, and I realized I was
not enough.
Cutting out so much, and it's the internet. People can always come back.
Yep.
You don't have to switch the channels. And usually we have about an 80% full view rate. Our YouTube channel is it's like 41,000, 42,000 subscribers. And we have all the rare, hard to find videos that we have an archive that would rival just about anybody. And episodes, and even the storytellers. We managed to get one episode of storytellers out of Billy in there about time he got attacked when he was buck naked by the Secret Service. Oh yeah, that's storytellers. Billy Meyer, and I think it's called All This Over Unpaid Parking Tickets.
Oh my gosh!
He brandished a weapon at the airport, at the hotel where the president's wife and kid were staying at. And it was innocent. It was an innocent deal. He was just like, and of course he's sleeping and he hears somebody beating on the door. And he says, if my car didn't go through, I'll come down there with money in the morning. And they said, open the door now, open the door now. Well, little did he know it was because he had a shotgun, because he was scared he was going to get beat up by another racer. And he had a shotgun that they put in the trunk. It was sitting in the front seat of the car when he went to valet his car. And he put that in there and just walked away. Well, he didn't know that President Gerald Ford's wife was staying there. And so when he did open the door, the Secret Service rushed the room. Well, he was sleeping in his birthday suit and ended up spread eagle on the floor with dudes down there. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna tackle a naked man. I don't care how much you pay me. You better get on down on the floor there. But they had him down there, and he went down. And the first thing he said to the guys when he got down there, when they let him put clothes on and everything, he says, "I was going to pay those parking tickets." And they said, "What are you talking about?" "Yeah, that's why you're here, right? Parking tickets." "No, you pull out a weapon where the president's wife is staying at." He's like, "Huh?" but it's all kinds of sordid stuff. So, again, another one of our unique original content venues is storytellers, which a lot of those come out of our Legends of Series stuff that we just can't really fit in there. And
we're
watching, like Nikki Bonifanti and the Death of the Rental Car, or Hi, I'm Ron Selzy, when Ron Selzy and Gary Capps teamed up to destroy a rental truck.
Oh my gosh! All right, so on that note, what do you think of the Ron Capps news? You excited?
Wow, I'm just excited for drag racing. I'm excited as a whole. We are watching drag racing go through a transformation, and just anything that's positive news for drag racing, I'm in favor for. I mean, it's like the worst kept secret in drag racing. We kind of knew it was coming,
Right.
you know.
Well, Ron
It's
was
like
saying.
that snowstorm they've been predicting for 2 weeks out, and it finally hits. You know, there's always a chance it ain't going to hit, but you know, this time it was, and you know, I'm just excited for drag racing. You know, and I will have an editorial coming out here soon. You know me, I'm pretty opinionated at times, but I very rarely write commentaries. But I am writing one now. I'm working on it. And like my episodes of Legends, the series, I keep going back and correcting and changing stuff. But my opinion, it hasn't changed that we are living in a golden era of drag racing. And it might not be the golden era that everybody lived in, but we no longer have to go to National Dragster to see when our shows are going to come on. We don't have to go and buy videotapes to watch drag racing.
Right.
We can go to YouTube, you know, click of the mouse, and we're watching the 1977 World Finals.
Anything you want. Anything you want. But then, and yet people are so angry right now at everything.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
They're so angry.
I tell them, and you know what? I'm sorry for the NASCAR fans, but they say, "Oh, this sport's circling the drain." Well, if you want to see something that's circling, you can go to other forms of motorsports. I know one that goes in circles. It's circling, but our sport, you've never had it so good, and you don't realize you've had it so good. Oh my gosh! Sometimes they act like the children of the day. You don't know what it's like to have to watch 3 black and white stations with rabbit ears and watch the McNeil Lair report because soap operas are on TV.
Right. And you know what? And that was great when it was happening. At least you were watching something in a box on a table. Like, wow, man, like look at these pictures. They're moving. And I'm not even that old. Like, that's the thing. It's all perspective. You know what? I don't even agree that NASCAR is circling the drain. But look at Kyle Larson, how much excitement he brought to the deal. It just, everything goes in cycles, you know, like you get your favorites.
And you know what? I'm really not educated enough on the NASCAR thing to make that deal.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
people are
racing,
saying that though, they're like mad that Bubba's a driver and they're mad at different stuff. And you know, look, what it really is about, in my opinion, is that people are raging at the dying of the light, their own selves. Because you think about yourself, Bobby Bennett, when he was 18 and 19 and 20, and now Bobby is 50, and you start thinking, man, you're coming up on the last couple hundred feet of the run, and what's going to happen when it's over. And it's kind of hard to maintain a positive attitude in that deal. Like, man, my time, like let's say your golden era was the 1970s, right? Well, now it's 2021 and it's not about you anymore. It's about Krista Baldwin and it's about whatever it's about. And I can tell you that those young people, they are loving their golden era just as much as we loved our golden era. And I like to think it's still our golden era, right? And it is, as long as you want to hold on to it. But the second that you like disconnect and say it's not about me anymore and it's not for me anymore, that's when you become old. And that's when you get angry. And then you go to Facebook and you start typing.
I love 1972.
Yeah.
It was a good era for drag racing. But you know what else was good? 25 cents a gallon gas. That was really good. Now, do you think that's coming back? No. And neither is drag racing from 1972. Right. Obviously, we never sat out there during the oil downs of 1972.
3 hours.
I'm like, I go to the Bakersfield March meet, and when we have 3 hours of downtime for Nostalgia Funny Cars, I'm sorry, I love the cars, but the presentation sometimes sucks because of all the oil downs and stuff like that. Now, I realize nobody does that on purpose.
Yeah, I've never been, but just think if we didn't have today's modern cleanup methods during that thing, it would have probably been 6 hours. But the whole point I'm making is that don't discount what we have achieved in drag racing. I mean, we wanted the next level. And you know what? We got there in terms of sponsorships. But you know what you got to do when you got there? Get there. You got to keep it.
and you got to keep raising the bar. You got to keep raising the bar. And the more you raise the bar, the more of your favorites fall off.
Yeah.
Can't keep going. So, you know, I always I told my buddies down in Australia, you clamor for the next level, but be careful. That next level might be the next level down.
Right. Because you can't hang, because it's just too much work or too much money, or brings in interested players that are more well heeled than you. Like it was an outlaw thing and a bunch of outlaws could handle it. And then all of a sudden people got interested and like, we've got money. And they got like, you know, real money. Like the day Elon Musk wants to go drag racing against Jeff Bezos, you know, the Don Schumachers are going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? You know why Dave McClellan and those guys were so popular back in the day? Because there was no drag racing coverage to be found on TV.
Right.
There was none. There was maybe 8 shows a year. We can get 8 shows a day now. Yeah. I mean, there was not there. It's almost like, what's that Eddie Murphy skit? He says, man, if you haven't eaten in 3 days and somebody gives you a cracker and you eat it, man, is that a hi-ho? Is that a wrist? Man, that was good. And that's the way drag racing is. Today, we have so much of it that we're spoiled that we don't know.
Yeah, but I actually think though that the positivity is winning out over the negativity. Like I think
hope so, because
we've seen a change in the last, I don't know, maybe like 2 years, 3 years post-pandemic, maybe the pandemic. You know, we were going really good in 2019. 2019 was a really good season. 2020, I genuinely believed was going to be our best season ever until this thing happened. And, you know, we've been kind of stumbling to just stay alive. But last year, 2021, was a great year. Like once we got our footing and kind of got out of it and took the masks off at Charlotte, we were able to pursue fun and we had great battles, funny car, the Erica and the Greg thing and pro stock, great racing top to bottom. And I really feel like some of those real negative Nancys, no offense, people named Nancy, but have kind of, I don't want to say they've given up, but they've taken their act elsewhere, right? Like they've realized like, okay, even if feel the way I feel, just announcing it randomly over and over again on people's Facebook posts is not serving anything. Like, okay, I've made my point. I liked it better back in the day. It is what it is now. And by the way, they're getting what they wanted, by the way. The super teams kind of coming back to earth, more single car teams, Antron, Caps are going to find their way in the world. Tony Stewart coming in, 2-car team, like excitement for them to enjoy. It's just whether they allow themselves to, which we know some people don't. Some people like themselves angry.
Might be the point where we have to step back and reinvent ourselves. And one of the things at competitionplus.com is that we have to reinvent ourselves every year. We have to do new things to, for instance, we did video. We came out with our first video stuff in 1999. And we had to stop because it was so far ahead of the curve. Then we tried in 2005. It was too far ahead of the curve. And then in 2012, when this young buck, Joe Castello was out there with us, we jumped back into Competition Plus TV. And we just started steadily building it. It'll be 10 years for Competition Plus TV next year.
Wow.
10th year anniversary. And again, we were ahead of the curve on that. And we branched out with other venues like Competition Plus Apparel, selling, old throwback T-shirts and stuff. And pretty soon we'll have our own classified ads website out that you'll be able to go in and, pay $20 and get a premier ad.
Well, and that's the thing. You got to just, like you said, keep going back and forth, just like you do over the videos, right? Like you refine. Like, how can I make it better, cleaner, nicer, simpler, flow better? And that's the same. And that's what I'm trying to do with WFO as well. It's a challenge. It is definitely challenging at the same time, but have built an audience and am thankful for them. And thankful for you, Bobby. I appreciate it. This has been great, everybody. Remember, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Billy Meyer's Legend, the series. And if you're watching in the future or down the road, go back and watch it. And there you go. Bobby, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. Look forward to seeing you at the races. And I believe next year, for the first time, I'm going to be headed back out to Southern California. Since I got sick, I've been very leery of going to places like Southern California and Las Vegas. Just didn't want to put myself in a situation where I could have a chance to get sick again. But you know what? That's not going to define me anymore. If it happens, it happens. Whatever it's going to be, but I'm going to go down fighting. I promise
Well, you took the cutting edge of it. I'm not a doctor. I don't understand all of that stuff, but it sounds like, we now have weapons against it. We've got, different versions of it are coming out, which they're saying are maybe more transmittable, but less powerful. Like things are changing, and we're in a different place than we were when you got it. You were the first person that I knew personally to get it, and you went through hell, and we know that. And I always think, thank goodness that they canceled the Gator Nationals, because you could have handed that off to a lot of people. And I hate to think of it like that, but
the worst part is I could have been stuck in my room sick down there, not able to get out, because again, we're not going to rehash the whole thing, but the day that I was rushed to the hospital, I was just one day away from dying.
Yeah.
And, the difference between now and then is COVID comes my way, I'm ready to punch it in the mouth.
Yeah. And
I don't play around with that stuff now. I'm ready to punch it in the mouth. And how I'm punching it out in the mouth is by vitamins, by a healthy lifestyle. And you're going to do what you're going to do, so bring it.
There he is.
I'm ready for you. I wasn't ready then, but I am now, by gosh.
How could you have been? Nobody could have been. That's the sad thing. Bobby, great job. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. And I can't wait to see Billy Meyer Legends.
Thanks for everybody who has supported us. And Joe.
Thank you. Likewise. Later, Bobby. There he goes. Bobby Bennett from Competition Plus. Really appreciate Bobby joining us here on the show, and Legends the series. Like, I am already super excited. Bobby, going to let you go. Going to finish the show up right now. And great stuff. Now, remember, this is pre-recorded. This is pre-recorded because we wanted to get Legends the series on, but make sure to watch it. Simple as that. All right, guys, final thoughts. Just want to shout out WFO store is up and rolling. I'm putting these are the things that I think are interesting, right? Whether it be hoodies or long sleeve t-shirts, and there's a bunch more. We got some with the logo is big, the logo is small, all that stuff. Get yourself some WFO gear, certainly. And shout out to our sponsors. Also, the Patreons. Patreon.com/WFO Radio, or go to WFOradio.com and just click on Patreon, and you can enjoy the perks. What do you get? Nothing. You get nothing. You're just supporting the show. You're supporting the show, and you get access to Ignition, and you get a special show called Monday Motivation, which is really don't expect much. And it's the kind of thing that when you get it, but it's not for everybody. But the people who do it, they're the advisory board. When I got a question, like, what are we going to do at WFO Radio? Are we going to try to take control of our rivals? Are we going to do an attack on our greatest rivals? They make the decisions, which is great. Thank you, Patreons. Don't forget, December 29th, Flying Ryan Ayler and myself battling at Showtime Dragway in St. Petersburg. I will be there. Gates open approximately 3 o'clock. We're going to be having a good time into the evening. We're going to do a best of 3 drag race called Joe versus Pro. He wrote the Pro versus Joe because he made this, but my version is Joe versus Pro. Identically prepared Mustangs. Me and Flying Ryan. Big thanks to Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and samtech.edu, Total Seal Piston Rings, and of course, Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. Happy holidays to everybody out there. We really appreciate you and everybody that has enjoyed this show for the year. Now, I'm thinking that this might be the last. Is it going to be the last show of the year? I don't know, guys. My whole, holiday with this travel that I'm on right now. Right now, I'm in Houston, Texas, except not now because I'm here preparing last week. Follow that? But what's going to happen between Christmas and New Year's? We got a Tuesday with Reinhardt. I think that we could probably maybe make that happen. And then we got the whole Flying Ryan deal. And then New Year's. We'll definitely do some best of programming as well. So be on the lookout for that. But again, To everybody out there, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If you're commenting, I'm not here, man. I'm not here. If you're wondering where the comments were, I'm not here. Watch Legends, the series. And my own Billy Meyer stories. This guy is awesome. Like, one thing he'll do, like 1 out of every 5 times he goes to shake your hand, he'll like go to shake your hand. And as you go to shake it, he'll go. And it's, you got me again. But then what's funny is after a while, he shakes your hand a couple of regular times and you start to feel a little disappointed. Oh, man, Meyer's not getting me with his little joke. Oh, maybe I'm not special anymore. And then just when you're like, okay, back to normal. Simple as that. Check out our WFO store, guys. Nobody's using the face coverings anymore, and I get it. But we got other cool stuff on there, including our Amazon store. And a lot of stuff. All right, guys, appreciate you. Have a great year. See you on the other side. WFO.